Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is Doris Savron, Vice Provost, Academic Colleges with University of Phoenix. And today we're going to be talking about how to be effective working remotely. I'll cover some of the benefits of being remote. I will also cover some of the challenges we face when we work from home. And then I will also cover some tips for how to be most effective. First, there are many benefits to being able to work from home. Many of us have done this for some time. Some of us are new to this due to COVID-19, but there's definitely opportunities to increase productivity and effectiveness when you work from home. You're saving time in commute hours. For some of us, that could be 1 to 2 hours a day. You could reduce stress a couple of ways. One, you're not dealing with the traffic and rushing to be somewhere on time due to that traffic. You're also not getting pulled away for sideway chatter, hallway chatter, different conversations that happen impromptu. You have an opportunity to improve your health when you work from home. You can make your meals. You're not eating out as often. You're definitely learning a new skill when you're working from home, especially on how to communicate virtually and how to use some of the technology tools for collaboration. You have an opportunity to increase time with your family. You're saving some of that commute time that could be repurposed for time that you spend with family. You're definitely saving gas money if you're not commuting. And then you have the ability to kind of control what your work environment's like. Temperature controls are probably the biggest things you hear at work. Some people are too hot, some are too cold. You get an opportunity to create your own space, the chair you want to use, how your space is set up, the environment around you. So those are all benefits. There are, however, some challenges as well. Sometimes people report feeling disconnected or isolated when they're working from home. They don't have the same impromptu conversations in the hallway that we mentioned earlier. Sometimes it's hard for people when they don't see people face to face to feel that connection, but our technology allows us to do some of this. There can be distractions at home if you have ongoing open projects. Sometimes the outside noise, the next door neighbor, others at home maybe in the same space, especially now during COVID-19. You've got possibly kids that are home from school, a spouse that's also working from home, which does create a little bit more noise in the house. Pets could be one of those things as well. Sometimes people have issues with reliable technology or Wi-Fi speed, so that can create some frustration. And some people have a harder time collaborating and communicating when they're working from home and using virtual tools. And we'll talk a little bit about some tips in a few minutes related to that. And then probably the number one thing that I hear people indicating being a challenge is this blurring of boundaries and always feeling like you are at work. And technically, if home is where you work, it could feel like you're there all the time. But there's definitely some things that each of us can do to protect um, that free time space or that family space. So here are some actual tips that I found have worked for me and others that I know on my team that work from home. Setting a schedule and keeping it is super important. It's really easy to take some of that commute time and just schedule an earlier meeting because now you don't have to get in the car and drive an hour. Sometimes it's easy to lose track of time at the end of the day because there's no kind of reminder where people are leaving with their bags and exiting the office. You're still at your desk and you could kind of lose track of time. So keeping a schedule and making sure you stick to it can help you maintain those boundaries. Definitely setting goals, and some people have reported that daily goals are super helpful right now, especially where you're just celebrating those mini completion points so that you can feel like you're staying on track, and it gives you a little bit of sense of control as well on what's happening in your day. There are ways to set boundaries in the workspace. You could actually create rooms or sections of rooms that are dedicated to workspace. So when others that might be at home with you see you in that space, know that you're at work. And then you definitely want to create some spaces that maybe are personal spaces, which are work-free zones. And so everybody knows that when you're in that room, you're not on your phone for a meeting or you're not checking your emails. And it really is dedicated time for you to use however you might want to as your free time. And then I have found that Leveraging video technology for meetings is super important and helpful. You miss out when you're working from home on that face-to-face connection, but video, especially with technology today, you get that real-time interaction. You can read people's body language, you can see their eyes, you can hear tone in their voice, and it really does enhance the engagement piece when you're talking and working together and making decisions together in meetings. And I would say the next one, I think we've probably all gotten a little casual on how we dress when we work from home, but sometimes, and it depends maybe on your work day and what meeting you have that day, you might want to dress as you're going into the office because then you know that you're in your workspace at that point, and then when the day's over, you put on your home clothes, like things that you would wear to go out for a walk or spend time with your family. So then that also is a symbolism of when you're cutting off your work time as well. I would also suggest you set up reminders to get up and move. For those of you that have Apple Watches, it does that for you every hour, and it helps even if you're on a phone call to just get up and move around. Because we have a tendency when we're working from home, staying put in one room or one space. Whereas if you're in a work building, you might be getting up every so often to go walk to a meeting room or to go get your lunch or to go to the restroom. And so you're generally moving more often when you're in a work building than you might be when you're at home. So setting those just little reminders through alarms or through your phone on reminding you to just get up and move. There's a great little app too that you can use that just lets you do 5 minutes of exercises to kind of get your blood flowing. And then I would suggest also to just stay focused on some of the resources that are out there that create positive messaging and tips and just provide inspiration, especially now when we're dealing with just some of the unknowns and just unique times of how we're all having to work through this. Having some of those positive messages and resources in front of you can help kind of break the um, maybe the anxiety you might be feeling or the isolation you might be feeling or the disconnect. It just reminds you what's out there and just reminds you of the different positive things that are happening as well while we get through this. And then I would definitely, if you're a leader of a team, set time specifically to connect with your team members. That could be by just setting up one-on-ones on a regular basis. That could be setting quick, a couple of times a week huddles with the team just to kind of understand where they are, what they might be encountering, if there are any challenges they're working, and dealing with. So they're just ways to just make sure you stay connected. And this is very similar to maybe, hey, do you guys have a quick 5 minutes when you see them in an office to pull them together? You can do something very similar to that, especially if you're using different virtual tools to work from home. So I hope that those tips were helpful for you. I know we're all dealing with unique times and there are many benefits to working from home. So hopefully these tips will help you minimize some of those challenges that we often speak of. So hopefully this will give you a little bit of, some ideas to just be more effective. Have a great day. Thank you.